Petrified. More like tamed. Oh my god, this episode from Kick Butowski, Suburban Daredevil sucks. This episode starts when Kick, Harold, and Brad begin their camp out with ghost stories telling Gunter that he and Brad were the first ones out of the tent, with the first year, Vampire Nurse, the second year, Madman, and the third year, Evil Clown. Gunter then gets scared at the last part, then dismisses Wade was a secret weapon to Kick, planning that he will be the last one in the tent. Gunter then has a special event that he's missing, then goes when Harold said he was out of s'mores. They start, after Brad had a bungee cord and Honey and Brianna have their fat relaxation. Starting with Brad's story. The Toilet of Terror. Poor Woodrow couldn't take the XL soda, just a quarter more. One night, he got stuck after hours in need of the restroom. They were locked. So he had to go across the football field to use the portable toilet. When he got inside, it was normal. Then, the door locked, toilet paper wrapped around him, and went inside the plumbing. In the toilet, no one can hear you scream. And in the next morning, there were two portable toilets. Woodrow turned into a toilet. After Brad's story, he starts slapping them with toilet paper rolls. Both Kick and Harold think it was the funniest. Then was Harold's story. The car. Harold had a horrible life with kids, beginning with Brad, messing his car. Sometimes he wish he just make them disappear. The car functioned. That night, Brad's raccoon-skinned hat was seen on the radio antenna, then sees Brad's room with him gone in skid marks. The next day, Brianna goes inside Harold's car and sprays perfume everywhere. This made Harold mad. That night, her crown was seen on the antenna without Brad's, then Harold grins evilly. The next day, Kick skates on top of his car, making Harold mad. That night, he sees Kick's helmet on the antenna, making him grin with delight. The next day, Honey was mad at Harold that he had oil on his collar and the kids are gone. He asks her to go on a ride, then the viewer sees all of the hats, even Honey's wig with a price tag. Harold laughs maniacally at the end, spraying oil everywhere, and making Brad scream and Kick a little scared. Kick then tells a story called A Nightmare on Butowski Street. There once was a spruce tree that was outside a suburban backyard, just the tree Brad and Harold cut down earlier. It ruined Brad's lookout to a certain special neighbor, tankini neighbor, Brad says, dang it. And ruined the wax job of a certain special car, Monique, Harold says, dang it. So Brad and Harold conspired to get rid of the tree, forever. They chopped down the spruce tree. Some trees refused to stay down. The tree started to stand up. Oh number. Not this one. This tree came alive. The face of the tree turned from a spooky face to an evil, red and villainous face. Brad and Harold celebrate their victory over the death of a tree, then was attacked by the evil alive spruce tree. The tree then destroys part of the house before roaring evilly. The tree picks up Brad and Harold, so, the tree wanted vengeance. So they were sent to the tree's root-filled lair for eternity. And they were all never seen of, ever again. Brad and Harold were scared, that there was a killer tree, then sounds were heard. Kick says that Wade was there, but had responsibilities with birds on his leaves. They look out, what is it, but Brad and Harold fight that he cut the tree known as a spruce strangler. He also argued about the tankini neighbor, which is in Kick's story. Kick says he's not losing, but Harold said it's not about winning or losing. It's about saving their mother and daughter. Honey and Brianna notice them getting out of the tent, then go back to their skinny stature. The boys go to the back, but it was locked. They used the front, they noticed the tree, and said that they should forget them, start over, live in a tree-less environment, have less demanding wives and a less expensive daughter. Honey and Brianna heard what they said, and are angry. Brad and Harold argued what has happened. They then notice the spruce strangler, which turns out to be Gunter. He asked to join his canoe carving, no one answered. But then, a rumbling began. It was the spruce strangler. It ate Gunter, then Kik and Harold, Honey and Brianna, and while Brad tried to hide, the tree's roots rises and descends Brad's bed and him into the root-filled lair, which it was only an imagination from Kik's story. Brad and Harold scream, then run into the house. Kik wins, was the last one in the tent, and is victorious, beating his goal. Ending. Later that night, Gunter wakes up in his bed and finds a stick underneath the sheets. He screams, as the episode ends. And that's why I hate this episode. Thank God I never watched it and I never will, or else it would waste my time. I don't know who likes or hates this episode, so I'm just going to leave it be. So screw Petrified. And screw Salsa Imbecilicus. An episode from SpongeBob SquarePants. Coop Dreams is 2,346,766 times better than Petrified. End of rant.